Now, ever wondered how it feels to live in a community lacking most of the basic social amenities in life?
For many people, it will be a very strange experience to go through, but in the midst of all these challenges, we meet one young girl who wants to be successful in the future, despite her current circumstances.
My name is Ophelia. I am 14 years of age. I come from Dago in the Eastern region. I'm attending school at Dago LAGHS. At Dago here, the major occupation here is the farming. Aside that, we have people who are carpenters, masons, seamstresses, and other things.
13 kilometers up the Insawam-Koforidia Road is the Dago community. One thing is very clear on a visit to this place, that is the struggle to survive. 14-year-old Ophelia Aye has lived here all her life. She is in JHS2 at the Dago LA Junior High School. School has closed for the day and Ophelia is going home. At home, Ophelia performs her duties without complaints. She helps to prepare food for her family. At night, the entire Dago community turns dark and silent. Ophelia has finished her household chores, and it is time to go through what she was taught in school. She has to rely on torchlights to do so. This is because there is no electricity in Dago.
It is difficult to us to learn in the evening because we don't have lights here. So if you are to learn, you have to hold lights until you finish learning. Before you realize, you become even tired, and so we want lights too. Due to this, the teachers are staying away because there is no light. But if there is light here, they should have stayed with us, watching us if we are learning or not. So I think when the light comes here, the teacher will come and stay here and watch us so that we will learn hard.
It's morning and children fetch water for their various house chores. Even though Dago can boast of a river and a single borehole, it is not enough to satisfy the community.
We have water, but it's not enough to us. It's only 2. So when the whole town is to go and fetch, it will create confusion. So we want more boreholes in the town.
Then there's an issue of an active economy in Dago. According to Ophelia, farmers in her community produce a lot of food, but the dusty and untarred roads prevent the easy transport of goods.
The road is very bad because sometimes if they are to send the food to the market and sell it, sometimes it takes about 3 days on the road because the road is not good. So maybe your car will get spoiled somewhere and you not get any car again until maybe you, the owner, you come to the town and come and get another car and send it.
For more than 8 years, the only public toilet in Dago has not been functional. The people therefore ease themselves in the bushes. That comes with some risk.
When maybe your stomach is even aching, you go there. But people use rubbers, they defecate beside the road, and this all causes sickness.
She believes with the needed help and encouragement from her parents and teachers, she can become someone important in the future.
That's why my resolution is, at least for the next decade, we would want all young girls, but all women, to have access to what sort of education they want and equality for our women as well.
And when I see some of these stories, I'm like, we don't have any excuse. We don't at all. Those of you who live in the cities, you have no excuse. Look at this young, beautiful girl growing up in the place where she's growing up. She still is very much positive.
And very intelligent as well. Okay, for school pupils in rural areas without electricity, as you just saw in that very story, learning information communication technology would be a serious challenge.
Well, most of these children have no option but to imagine what the components of a computer looks like. Others have to walk long distances to use the computer.
But pupils of Dago LA JHS in the Krapim South municipality don't have to go through this anymore.
We move on to our next topic. I would like us to go through how to create folder.
This is an ICT class at Dago LAJHS in the Eastern region. The pupils are learning how to create folders. There is something special about this classroom. It is not the usual wooden or block classroom. This is a huge container fitted with desk, a 65-inch electronic board, and 24 internet-enabled notebooks, all powered by the sun. It is the first solar-powered internet school ever built in Ghana.
Folder is a container that we use to store information or keep information.
Before the coming of this solar-powered ICT class, authorities of Dago LAJHS bought these generator sets for pupils to learn ICT. The solar-powered internet school is to give students and teachers in the most remote parts of Africa access to education and innovation. The project is aimed at boosting information and communications technology education in rural Ghana. If this happens, students will not have to walk long distances for ICT education.
Please, now this SPIS have made ICT learning easy for us, because at first, the time we were not having this SPIS, we travel all the way to Insaum before we learn ICT. But now it has made transportation easy for us, and we don't travel to anywhere. All the time when we have ICT, we just work here and come and learn.
This center has helped us in so many ways, because we're having only one computer in the school, and sometimes we don't even have money to go and buy petrol. But when this center came, when we had to learn ICT, we just come here and learn it, then we go away.
It has been of an immense help to the children as well as the community, because hitherto we were having only one system unit, which is operated with a generator, and this generator has to be fueled. So we find it very difficult generating funds to fuel this generator to provide electricity for the system unit to operate.
Double click on the target folder. This is the target folder.
For ICT teacher George Oheneboache, there has been a great improvement in the academic performance of pupils ever since the solar-powered internet school came some 7 months ago.
They are improving. It's far better than the previous years. Nowadays, things are improving because you ask them practical questions and they are able to answer you. So nowadays, things are getting better. Oh, this has been very helpful, because at first we were using chalkboard illustrations. You have to illustrate, and they find it very difficult to understand, because teaching in abstract, students find it very difficult to understand. But with this, they have the machines or the netbooks in front of them. You do it and they follow you, and they are catching up. It's happened a lot.
Ironically, the Dago community has not had electricity for more than 50 years, which makes it difficult for pupils to go over what has been taught in school in the evenings.
Here, there's no light, so we buy torch lights and we use it to learn our notes.
Because there's no light, now the head is negotiating with Samsung so that they can wire the classroom so that we will be able to send electricity to the classroom so that in the evening they will come around to learn and also come here and practice. We are now putting up a teacher's bungalow for us. So when the bungalow is finished, we will move to the bungalow so that we'll be here in the evening to help them out.
And I think that we're staying still with schools and rural education a little longer.
Well, by tricycle, bicycle, or foot, it's a question that pupils of the Balahagu DA school face every Saturday when they want to visit the library. Well, our colleague Irama Kojo visited the area in a suburb of the northern regional capital, Tamale, and has come through with this report.
Blagu is a sleepy village in the Tolon Kumbungu constituency. It doesn't have much going for it except a school compound, one in great shape by rural standards. But it is not boring either. The young people make the village tick on Saturdays. This is where it starts, the village square.
Live time, please.
Mahmoud Abdelmami, Hussein Abdel Fattah, Mohamed Mimnat, Haruna Pai.
Those are 25 pupils on board the tricycle. They could afford the 3 cedi fare. Those who could not afford the fare have to find a bicycle or walk the 15-kilometer journey to Tamale. Walking the distance is not for cowards. Pupils go through rice fields, irrigation channels, and dusty routes in the heat of the sun. Eight kilometers into the journey, there's a short break for water. Then everyone moves on. The rest of the 7-kilometer journey is done on the shoulder of the Accra-Tamale Highway. We've been walking for over 10 kilometers already. I haven't done the entire journey on foot, but they have, and I can't begin to imagine what they're going through. Some 3 hours and 15 kilometers later, the group on foot makes it to the library. That's 2 hours, 40 minutes after the groups on tricycle and bicycle.
I'm tired.
And that's also the exact closing time of the library, 2 p.m. But the library staff make an exception, and the children get 1 hour to read and borrow books.
We want to come to the library, but we don't have
bicycles or money to enter the motorcades or the lorry. We don't have the lorry fare.
We don't have any book, and we want to continue the reading club. So that's why we are, and we decided to become here.
We can call the motorcade driver and he said that he won't go. So far we ride bicycles. So as we are riding bicycle, we ride the bicycle to here and read and pick our books and go home. So because of library, that's why we are coming here to read it. So if there is library, we just sitting in our community and we read it.
It helps to improve our English. It's some of us, we don't know how to read, and when we come and pick the books and go home, we have a meeting days. Every Mondays we are meeting. So when we meet, our headmaster will teach those of us who know how to read. He will teach them how to read, and they learn. And those of us, when we read and across a word that we cannot pronounce or we don't know the meaning of it, he will teach us how to pronounce it and teach us the meaning of it. Everybody will give him at least 5 words.
As we are reading, we are improving.
I became the head teacher of the school in 2010. So when I got there, I realized that the children could not read nor write. So I developed the idea of keeping the children in school after school hours. So I taught them using the phonics method to teach the children how to read. Then I asked that the children should buy my first copybook, which I guided them. It was on interest base, and the children themselves bought the books with the support of their parents, and they joined the club. I realized that the children themselves wanted football so much, so I decided to use the football. So play and read, that was the notion I put before them.
When I come to library, when I read, I'll write some keywords and send it home. We are having our petrol, asking the meaning of all of that words, and also help me when I come to library. It's opened my eyes to certain things is here that I've ever seen it, but when I come, I can see it.
The first batch who wrote just last year, we had 77% for the girls and 83% for boys. But on the whole, we had, on district-wide, we had 83% on the whole. So I know for now that if they couldn't read, they would not have been able to get that 83%.
After an hour, the journey starts again. 20 minutes by tricycle or bicycle, 3 hours by foot to the village. And that's how it will be until the village gets the library.
A vivid picture about how some children in a lot more communities in our country would have to trek daily just to get access to whatever resource that they want. Yeah. Aren't we lucky in some areas?
Yeah, we are. To think that I would walk from Zico to the Angloga township to visit the library, and I thought the distance was too long. Check out 15 kilometers. It doesn't come anywhere close.
Well, a lot more people have gone through some of those struggles as well, but the point is you just need to make sure you go above the tide. I mean, very much successful as you can. We're just getting some news from the wires that the Tamale Central Market has been gutted by fire.
Yeah. So we're crossing over now. Joining us via phone is our Northern Regional Correspondent, Hashmin Mohammed, on the phone line to give us more. Hashmin, what more can you report?
Hello?
Yeah, Hashmin, we can hear you. Can you? Hello, Hashmin?
Hello?
Hello, Hashmin. If you can hear me.
Yes, I can now hear you.
Okay, so tell us exactly where you are and what's happening.
Well, I am at the Tamale Central Market, and this morning the traders wake up to the information that fire has gathered some portion or some part of the market. Right now, officials of the National Fire Service are here trying to bring the situation under control. What I have gathered for now is that one store, which is some electrical faults in one of the stores, resulted in a fire, and the fire spread to neighboring stores at the market. And the difficulty the fire officials had when they arrived here was just that access routes in the market have all been blocked by traders who have built on roads. I can remember somewhere last year the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly tried to decongest the Tamale market, but months after that incident, the traders returned back, and they have not been able to enforce the decongestion exercise that they earlier did. So that has resulted in the problem that we are witnessing here this morning. And lots of the traders are here trying to salvage what remains in the fire incident.
So, Hashmin, are you able to tell what has been lost in this fire?
At the moment, it is very, very difficult to be able to tell because the fire officials are trying to bring the situation under control. City officials from the police have also taken over the area. So it is difficult at the moment until they are able to bring it under control. One cannot be able to get closer and know what has been lost in the incident.
Okay, but what are these market men and women saying?
Well, some of them are wailing, and then some of them are also accusing other traders who have blocked access roads in the market, are saying that it is about time the metropolitan authorities of the Tamale metropolis enforce the law on decongestion the market, so as it can be able to bring sanity in the market.
Hashmin, we'll leave it here, but we'll definitely come back to you for more updates as and when you do have it. Our colleague in Tamale now, Hashmin Mohammed, that's really sad. Fire gutting the central market in Tamale.
We'll try as much as possible to get him back on the line, perhaps just after the next 20 or 30 minutes to get the latest update. But again, we have to say or give you that very education that the central market in Tamale is a business point where we have cross-trading across the various communities in the metropolis or adjoining communities, just to make sure that commerce and trading is adequately undertaken in that very area. And so it serves as a trading center for many of those communities as well.
Yeah. Well, but we have to move on here. The lives of dozens of residents in Duta, is a suburb in Aflao in the Volta region, are currently at risk due to the operations of diamond cement in the area. And
according to residents, the immense pollution caused by operations of the company is threatening lives and property. They are appealing to government to, as a matter of urgency, intervene. Matoda Pamaga visited the area and has come through with a report.
Duta is a farming community in Aflao in the Volta region with close to 6,000 inhabitants. The residents are mainly farmers but cannot return to work due to the huge impact of pollution on their farmlands.
As we are seeing it, when we watch the top of our roofing and our trees, even when you plant that kind of herb to use, you can't use it because of cement dust. It's too worried. When you take it, maybe it will affect your heart or your stomach.
So how are residents coping with this thing?
Wow, my sister, I don't know what to say because only what I know, by the night when you sleep, let me tell you, when you wake up early in the morning, when you watch your body, you may see the different, some white things on your body. If you have to keep water, was about some 30 minutes ago, and as the woman put it on there now, about some 3 minutes ago, you see that some colors in the photo of the water.
Have you spoken?
My sister, I would like government to appear on this issue, so that even though we can't move from here, but at least if they can organize some doctors to come and how do you say, to examine people if they have some how do you call disease, so that they can give us some medical. I would like that.
The dust is badly affecting us. The trees are all covered with dust. It's making life very uncomfortable for us.
The release of toxins from operations of diamond cement is also having an adverse effect on the health of residents.
Oh, ma bubu funda na mintola ba miaba achinu no ha bubu ekona ma ndudu onto ha ekona ma ta mijiba mi akpere mi anchi.
Our water is all covered with dust, even the food we eat. The situation is very bad.
Ma pollution na ekpoba miaba ndudu dust ayo no na ama blachio chi miaba chinunu.
Oh, bubu akwe no afunda na mi devio ha bubu afunda no okpekpe.
Our children are all coughing. We also covered now due to the effect of the dust. We need government to come to our aid.
Although the Environmental Protection Agency and the Parliamentary Select Committee on Environment, Science and Technology has been to the area on several occasions to assess the situation, nothing has been done about it. In spite of the pollution residents have to deal with on a daily basis, the bad state of the road linking to the main town is also a worry.
The nature of this road is very poor, and sometimes when it rains, we find it difficult to move from the village to the town, and sometimes due to that, the nature of the road, and most at times accidents do occur unexpectedly, because when we are riding through the rough road, and when it rains, a moment you apply the brake or any small thing, you see that no, that's serious accident. So most of the time, even once in a week, if I will not lie to you, at least 5 people get injured in this road. So we are suffering too much.
Residents are therefore calling on government to come to their aid as they feel neglected in the country's pursuit of development. Matilda Fumaga for Joy News.
And a lot more updates will be coming to you, brought to you by Matilda Fumaga. She gets the latest as to what's happening in the efforts to make sure the company tries to clean up its activities following its operations.
Well, yesterday was International Women's Day, and women in Africa remained at a marked disadvantage compared to men in their daily lives.
An Afrobarometer report documenting changes in attitudes towards women in 34 African countries showed that the battle for equal rights and opportunities for women was far from won. Nearly 72% of women in 34 countries say women should have the same rights as men rather than being subject to traditional laws.
And in 15 countries where Afrobarometer has asked about equal rights since 2002, support for equality has increased from 68% in 2002 to 73% in 2012. The mixed story of gender rights on the continent was reflected in the results for Ghana.
In 2005, 83% of respondents in Ghana supported women's leadership. However, this went down to some 72% in 2012. Nonetheless, there is increasing support for women's equality, moving from 76% in 2002 to 84% in 2012.
Unfortunately, though, Ghana was the country with the highest losses in empowerment ratings, from a height of 76% in 2008 to 61% in 2012. Gender gaps are particularly pronounced in North Africa, the survey revealed.
And we hope that some of these numbers, the statistics, will improve in the next 10 years.
Yeah, but I think that, to be fair, really, we have to do a lot of work. That's the women. I mean, women have to work on themselves. We have to be qualified, you know, to get the positions, to get to these things that we're talking about, because nobody would just hand it, over to you. And I always say a typical example is our own parliament. I can tell you how difficult it is to get some of the women out to even, be part of conversations.
But the point is, if the society and the political elite, all the political parties are also very much committed to it, then we start with what the argument has been, please leave a certain percentage of the positions freely, or the constituencies for women. Then that will encourage them to perhaps be more bold and less complex about how more effective they can be in their communities, I believe.
Well, later on this morning, I sat down with the Deputy Gender Minister to have a serious conversation on my banner. How about reserving jobs for women? Because that's also something that has come up recently, revealed by the Gender Minister herself. This is something that we're going to have in the future.
Sure.
They will reserve jobs for women, certain jobs.
If you ask me, I say women are as competent as men. I've had some of the best women bosses than I've had of men bosses.
Sure.
Well, everybody in their experiences in many respects.
Okay, it's good that they reserve the jobs for us, but I still say we have to be qualified to fill up those positions. Definitely.
Okay. I was just reading something yesterday about how women who perhaps give birth immediately are sometimes rushed to go back to work after 3 months, etc.
Yeah, that's the challenge. That's the challenge.
All right, so we have to come back to the Greater Accra region, somewhere in Tema, where residents of the Sakumono flat were left in shock on Sunday when fire swept through one of the rooms, burning everything except 3 Bibles, which were left pretty much intact despite the raging fire.
Well, the fire started around 2 p.m. and lasted a little over an hour before being extinguished. No injuries were recorded, though, as the occupants were absent at the time of the fire.
As you can see there, the 3 Bibles were retrieved from the fire after the inferno was brought under control. It is still unclear what may have caused the fire. Okay, interesting there.
Yeah, very, very interesting. But now you are up to date with what is latest. Stay with us here on the AM show. We'll come back with more.